Welcome to A Shot of Ag. My name is Rob Sharkey. Where do you get your produce? You get it at the grocery store, at the old Walmart, or do you get it from an actual farmer? Today we're going to be talking with Randy Starnes, a produce farmer.
Yep.
You're from Chillicothe, or just north of there, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that where you're from originally?
Yeah, I grew up there, just north or west of Chillicothe, about 5 miles.
Okay. Did you grow up on that farm?
Yes.
Okay. And were you growing produce?
My grandfather grew watermelon, cantaloupe, and he had he had a peach orchard and apple orchard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did you know growing up this whole time that this is what you were going to be doing as a career?
No, because, things changed.
Yeah.
And actually my grandfather committed suicide.
Oh.
Because he had arthritis so bad, and he knew he was going to lose the farm. And with things going on, and which, that's something somebody should talk about. There's so many farmers commit suicide more than anybody else.
It is an epidemic, yeah.
And because of things like that, and but anyway, so my dad just had a small part of it, and he grew vegetables every year. We do canning. My mother canned a lot.
So for yourselves?
For ourselves.
Gotcha.
100. You're talking about 100 green beans, 100 tomatoes.
100 jars or cans?
Jars of, yeah. Well, we
aren't that good.
5 kids,
Oh,
boys. We ate the heck out of stuff.
Did you put
in a way to
bacon
save
in it?
money. Yeah, she did. And so anyway, long story short, we did that. And then in the 80s, my brother come across this property that was 10 acres, and it was about 6 acres tillable. Well, nothing was tillable.
Yeah.
It was an old greenhouse. It used to be Peter's Floral years ago.
Okay.
And when he bought it, it was in the wintertime, and he seen all these mounds of stuff out there, and he thought it was dirt. And after the snow melted, it was all plastic.
Oh.
And so
like the old houses?
All the greenhouses that was out there.
And they were junk or just?
Just junk, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the greenhouses weren't even standing anymore. They took all them down, just left the plastic.
Okay.
And then it was all brush trees everywhere. So he rented a bulldozer, started bulldozing things in and cleaning things out. Had to clean out, they had concrete strips through all the greenhouses. They had to take all the concrete out. So it was about a 5 to 6 year cleanup.
Oh, geez.
But my brother's the one that had the dream to do the stuff, same thing my grandfather did. So when we started, we pretty much did, we had about 30 peach trees, and we only grew watermelon and cantaloupe.
Okay.
And just a few vegetables for ourselves. But we grew out watermelon and cantaloupe, and we sold them to the mom and pop grocery stores.
Gotcha.
And after that, a few years ago, about 9 years ago, my brother got cancer, and so we stopped doing everything. We quit, and then after he passed away, there was about 2 years. It was tough for me to even go out to the farm, because he wasn't out there, and my wife finally
Wasn't the same without.
No.
Yeah.
No, and so my wife finally said, "Look, this is costing us a lot of money in taxes. We have to do something, or you're going to sell it.
Yeah.
One of the two. We can't afford to keep it." So
Wives will do that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I said, well, I've always wanted to do strawberries and raspberries. That's something my brother never wanted to do. So I did an experimental patch of strawberries to see how they worked out, and they did phenomenal. So, and then in 2018 is when we decided, okay, I started planting a bunch of little small plants, starter plants, and we're actually going to really do this and open up to public and things like that in 2019. And guess what hit in 2019?
Was it what? COVID was 20?
COVID hit.
That was 19, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we lost our butts.
Well, people still had to eat strawberries. They were nutty. People were all nutty.
People would not come
they
to
were
the farm.
afraid. Yeah.
Would not. We couldn't get nobody out there.
There's a lot of COVID out in an open farm.
Yeah. So we lost a lot. That's what I tried. We lost a lot of money, and and I said, well, that's fine. This is what I want to do. want to keep investing. So, you know, and
So,
it's not
sure.
the smartest thing in the world. I'm
Not
telling
sure
you,
that's
not
the most sound business advice, but I guess
very bad business advice.
I guess it worked.
Well, you know, we're finally starting to make money. You know, that you know, it took us quite a few years to get our name out, and even people in Chillicothe don't even know we're there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so it's harder to get more people out to the farm than it is us going to, you know, like farmers markets. We have to go, we have to sell in Chillicothe. If we don't sell in Chillicothe, we get very few people that want to drive 3 miles past
just don't wanna-
Kroger's to come to the farm and get it fresh.
Huh.
You know, and even, you know, we have a U-pick everything. Okay, so a lot of people, mostly the Indian people, Oriental people, they want to pick all their own vegetables.
Yeah.
They don't want us to pick them because they like partial green tomatoes. They don't want, you know,
Oh, really?
ripe tomato. Yeah. I found out there's 2 different types of okra. There's an Indian okra and there's an American okra. And the Indians don't like, India people do not like American okra.
What they're used to.
Yeah, it's a little smaller and it's more tender.
Okay.
And so after that, because they're the ones that buy more of it, that's all.
They're
I
the ones
wrote.
coming
That's
out to your farm.
most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's more from, you know, like Dunlap people in that area
Yeah.
than anyone else.
Okay.
And,
I
and
would,
so,
you know, it's funny because, you know, you talk to other farmers there, like people that get into sheep, you know, and they talk about the ethnic markets and where to go to. I've never really thought of that with produce before.
Yeah, and you know, and you got to move it. You know, produce only lasts so long, so you got to move. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, you can wait. The first year, I thought we could wait on the farm and sell everything. Well, guess what?
Didn't work
That
so
don't
much,
work. So
yeah.
you got to be if you want to do produce farm, you got to be a hustler. You got to go to the markets and you know and try to sell and.
Is that difficult for you to go to a market and say, hey, here is my product, you need to buy it? Are you a salesman?
No. You know, you buy it, you look at it. I got good stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, and if you want to buy it, if you want to go down over there, it ain't
See,
gonna
I
hurt
always
my
thought that would,
feelings.
I would not do good in that environment because I know how much effort I put into those berries right there. And for someone to come and say, oh, you know what, would you knock 50 cents off? I'd want to pop them in a snaz, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
well, my wife had that happen to somebody in Chillicothe.
She hit somebody?
No, but somebody threw a tomato at her because they bought a basket of tomatoes. And she said, well, I'll just take this one too. And she goes, well, it's going to be 75 cents. And he goes, you're going to charge me for that? And she goes, well, they will at Kroger's. They don't give it to you. You know?
So they bought tomatoes and they wanted
One extra.
like a baker's dozen tomatoes.
and so he got mad. And he threw
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we still talk about that.
Is your wife
kinda
a violent
comical.
person?
No.
Why are you winking at me?
Because she's only violent to me.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
It's a trivia question. You ready?
I'm not really. Go ahead.
We did this question at a thing we were shooting for the other TV show, and I think only 1 or 2 person got it right.
Okay.
What is the only fruit that has a seed on the outside?
Oh, raspberries. Raspberries got 200 and some seeds. Or 200.
They're still on the inside, though.
Yeah, they are on the inside. Seed on the outside.
You know it.
I'm probably sure I do. Oh, strawberries.
Strawberry.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
I got to think of
Once you picture a strawberry, it's
yeah,
like
seeds are on the outside. Yeah,
But
yeah,
they're
you're
the
right.
only one that has the seed
You're
on the
right,
outside.
you're right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I know.
Did you know a bee has to pollinate a raspberry like hundreds of times for it to be a raspberry?
It really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every one of them little dimples on a raspberry has been pollinated. Yes.
Oh. I didn't know we were doing. Do you know the human head weighs 8 pounds?
Mine probably
It's
don't.
a Jerry Maguire. If you
I-
saw that. You're laughing if you saw
Mine
that.
probably
movie.
about 6 pounds. Brain ain't so big.
Okay, so you get past COVID,
Yep.
and then how are you marketing this?
Mostly on Facebook and word of mouth. You know, we're getting every year it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Strawberry, the U-pick strawberry has really grown. You
Yeah.
know, if we say we're opening up at 7, there's people in the parking lot usually or on farm at 6:30. You know,
Gotcha.
so we say we're opening up at 7:30, so because we don't want them there till 7.
That's
Yeah,
that's
we gotta,
usually good. Yeah.
if we don't want them there till 7, we just tell them we're opening up early. But we get, we have like sometimes 30 cars out there at one time. And, what's great about that is they bring their kids out. And what I'd love to see is like these little ones, they come out, and there's some strawberry farms, they don't eat the strawberry or whatever. And
Yeah.
it hurts me to not see a kid to eat a
Oh
strawberry.
no, I wouldn't be. I was like, hey, hey.
No,
hey.
I
That's what I would do.
But I'm
You're too nice.
I love kids. That's my wife says I'm too nice.
Yeah.
And but when a kid comes up and they got faces red,
It's
and
pretty obvious.
you're going to ask them. You go, did you eat any of my strawberries? You act real stern. You go, did you eat any of my strawberries? They go, no. and that just makes my day. I mean, and there's some parents will say their kids ate so many strawberries, we owe you for another pound. But most of them don't, and most of the adults eat them too. You can't watch everybody.
I've never done
the
that.
biggest thing
You know
is
who does it? My wife.
what's that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When she's picking strawberries, she'll eat them.
Oh,
She
yeah.
does it in the grocery store too.
My wife does that too.
Oh my God, what is it with the women?
I don't know. She'll do that grapes. She'll be eating the grapes.
Oh, I'm sure glad nobody's gonna watch this show.
I know it.
What is a CSA?
It's actually it's part of like a people invest into the farm, and I'm going to break it down a little
It
separately.
stands for what? Community
supported agriculture.
or egg subscription. One
Egg
of the,
prescription,
whatever,
yeah, something like that. And but what they do is they pay ahead of time, and then for so many weeks they get a box of vegetables.
Okay.
And we're the only farm around that I know of that offers fruit too. Like some people offer apples and peaches, but we do the raspberries, strawberries too, and we do watermelon cantaloupe. There ain't no other one that I know of that does watermelon cantaloupe because they're so high.
So
Nobody wants to give a $6 watermelon. You know what I mean? A big watermelon, but I grow them. So I can do that. I don't buy
order
'em.
like, okay, in this month's box I want this, or is it up to you?
It's up to me. It's what's available.
Oh, okay.
But they got their choice to, like, let's say if they don't like lettuce, they can say, well, I'd rather have turnips. You know what I mean? Just something. Then we won't put lettuce in their box or whatever.
Okay.
Or something.
What is the least favorite vegetable?
Okra.
Really? I would have thought beets.
No, that okra. There ain't too many people like okra. And I've planted some stuff that's probably even least. It's called Mulan. I think it was Mula. It was somebody said, "Oh, we'll buy every bit you have," and so I thought, okay, I'm going to be rich now, So I planted these 2 rows, and then he goes, "Oh, the people don't want to buy it like that. They'd rather have it already processed."
What is it?
It's actually an Egyptian spinach.
That sounds awful.
It was. I didn't care for it. There were some people did like it, that tried it, but I didn't like it. There's a lot of things I don't care for that I grow.
The CSA, what is the benefit to both you and what is the benefit to the customer of doing this rather than just showing up and buying what they want?
For me, it gives us seed money. It helps us to, start out to farm because it costs a lot of money to even, that little produce farm.
Yeah.
It's quite a few, you think about strawberries. We spend like $6,000 in strawberries, just in strawberries. And then we're putting blueberries in this year, another $2,000, and then all the vegetables, time we start them, plant them, and all that, it costs quite a bit of money. But, so anyway, it helps us out that way. And what it does to the customer is that they're going to know they're getting fresh vegetables every week, and they're getting a box. They're getting more than what they paid for. They're going to get it's a little extra. We try to break it down. Okay, let's say if it's $25 for so many weeks, and then we try to put like $30 in worth of vegetables.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they're getting a little extra.
Yeah.
And they'll sometimes. If we got abundance of lettuce, they're going to get more lettuce than they are some other stuff. That's the thing. It's just, if we get more of this, they'll get more of that, of that than other
And
things.
do they come pick up the box?
Some people come to the farm, then we deliver it to the riverfront market, and then if I think we're gonna pick up a market in Pekin, so we'll probably deliver there too. So
Yeah.
they can, that way it just kind of, it makes it convenient for them. They don't have to, let's say if they're in that area, they don't have to
And
go so
blueberries.
far.
Them were good. We grew those, I'll tell you what, we grew those one year, and we were off doing something, my wife and I. And I told my son, like, we have not put sulfur on those all summer.
Yeah,
There's some in the garage, just put some sulfur on it.
right.
And then a week goes by, and my son was like, I needed more sulfur. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because there should have been like twice as much.
Yeah.
Well, he poured it on. Like we had a row of like 100 plants, and the
Right.
first 20, he took it all.
Yeah.
Those were the best 20 plants.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, they were just, Yeah, so
Yeah.
good luck with those.
Yeah, the big growers, they when I've talked to some of the biggest growers of blueberries there is, and they say that they don't use sulfur anymore. They use just peat moss.
Oh, well, this worked.
Yeah.
So
'cause
I don't
peat,
know what
well,
to tell
peat
you.
moss is faster.
Yeah.
And so they, they're, I mean, they even told me, they said they want you to use a bag of peat moss per 10 plants.
Oh,
Planting
geez.
them. Yeah, that's quite a bit of peat moss, which I've already put sulfur in the ground to lower the pH,
Yeah.
to start everything. Yeah, that's the biggest problem is you got to get your ground ready before you put blueberries in, because
Yeah.
blueberries are picky.
Yeah.
They are the worst things in the world, hardest thing to grow, I think.
You did have some challenges. You had a stroke.
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
that a surprise?
Yes, it was, and even surprised the doctors
Yeah.
because they said I was the least candidate to have a stroke. No high cholesterol, no problem,
Really?
everything else. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they really couldn't figure out why I had one.
Did that slow you down quite a bit?
A lot. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it was about 8 weeks. Luckily, and when I went to therapy, when they said, "Well, do these exercises twice a day," I did them 10 times a day.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to recover because
That's not how that works.
my father-in-law had a stroke and he was getting better. And as soon as he got home, he decided he just didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't do the exercises. Well, I seen that, and I go, I'm not going to be my father-in-law. I'm going to be the guy that recovers quick, and so I did.
Okay. Wait a minute. For the folks at home, this is not medical advice.
No, it's not. No. But I did recover faster.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it
you
worked
know,
for you.
and
It's
you
like
know,
putting sulfur on a blueberry plant.
exactly. That's what I thought. I said, well, if 2's okay, 10's got to be better.
Are you all healed up?
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We got a little bit of every once in a while I have a little speech problem, but other than
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
it's all going pretty good. We had a lot of TSAs, I think they're called, little mini strokes.
Oh, I don't know.
Last year I had we was having like five a week,
Oh.
and I'd be out in a tomato patch, and I knew I was going to have one, but I couldn't do nothing about it, and I'd fall down, and my whole
Really?
left side wouldn't work.
Oh no.
Yeah. Luckily, we had most of the time there was somebody always out there, and they could get me back to the barn and let me sit down and stuff. And anyway, them there last anyway between an hour, up to 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
So that was a real struggle last year. Real struggle.
Oh, I
So,
can only imagine.
I mean, and me, I've got to get this done. Got to get this done.
Yes, I'm aware of you. I've known you for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of this.
And then my wife goes, "Then don't worry about it."
Yeah, she must be a saint.
She is.
Emily, my wife, asks people to bring something and put it on the desk that represents them. Okay.
It don't really represent me,
what
but
is
it
this?
represents me who I am because I don't like technology, really.
Okay.
And-
Now it makes sense.
And, I think the cell phones and all this stuff is ruining kids because, when I was a kid, what I like to do is be out with my dad farming or whatever,
Yeah.
to be on a tractor, do stuff. And now they want to be on their little cell phones and all
Oh,
this
yeah.
stuff. And, this is before we had plastic, this is ice in a can.
You freeze this.
You freeze it and then
Yeah.
you put it in your lunch pail.
Have you opened it?
No, that'll ruin
What
it.
do you think's in it?
I don't know. I heard it's worth $50. This can is now.
It'd almost be worth $50 to open it. But have you froze it?
No, I have not.
But
not lately.
I suppose
I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it.
Oh, but
'cause it's so cool.
it has been froze.
Oh yeah, many times.
And
yeah.
it doesn't expand too much. And
No, you don't do nothing just like this, exactly like can. Yeah, we used to take them on fishing, when we went fishing
Yeah.
when we was kids and stuff. We'd put them in the coolers and yeah.
Okay.
It was great.
It does look very cool.
Yeah.
It's got like the old instructions on it.
Oh, yeah.
Common sense. Do not ingest, you moron. I mean, that's the good old days.
Oh,
How old
yeah.
do you think this is?
It was out in the 60s.
The 60s.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a cell phone?
Oh yeah. I got to have one now.
I suppose.
I got a smartphone. My wife said I was finally smart enough to get one 2 years ago. So.
I tell you what do you want people to know about what you do, about raising their produce? What do you want people to know about that?
About my produce?
Or just
their
about being a
produce?
produce farmer?
Well, a lot of hard work.
Yep.
Yeah, it's sun up till sundown. You don't get to eat much, You're lucky. Sometimes you don't eat till 9 or 10 o'clock, and you're in bed, and then you go back to work at soon as light. Because a lot of the things you want to pick early in the morning to make them fresh. You got to spray some. If you have to spray, we do only spray organically, but even that you can't spray during the sun. During the sun, so you have to early morning, and that's before the bees get out, or if you're spraying something that might kill the bees, like neem oil. Neem oil will kill bees too, and then there's a lot of things. It's just so much fresher if you pick it, in the early morning.
Okay.
And there's actually more sugar in it.
Oh, sweeter?
Yeah, sweeter. Yeah, your sugar's first thing in the morning, and cucumbers are actually. I don't do it, but you should pick cucumbers at night.
Nobody likes cucumbers unless they're pickled.
We sell a lot of cucumbers. We sell a lot of cucumbers.
Well, you got a lot of wrong people in this world.
Well, that's. You don't like cucumbers?
I don't like cucumbers.
I don't even know why I'm on the show.
Beginning to wonder that myself.
Hey, we're having fun anyway.
People do not understand how much work goes into what you do.
We do.
And I think it gets romanticized. It's like, oh, look how lucky he is. And you are.
Yeah.
But still, my gosh, for the amount of work you put in to make, I'm going to say this, a superior product, nothing against Walmart strawberries, but a superior product. Yeah. And you need to pay for that. People need to realize that you get a better product, you've got to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, and a lot of them do. Peoria is pretty good about it. Chillicothe, I'm not going to say
They got their
anything.
people.
They got.
I like Chillicothe.
I like Chillicothe too. I grew up there,
I got a tattoo
But you
there
got some of your older people that they're still kind of like me. They're still stuck in the back.
Well, your can of beans used to be like 25 cents.
Yeah. And that's okay, because one thing about going to the farmers markets, which I don't really like to go, my wife usually goes to them, is you do meet a lot of new people.
Yeah.
I like to meet people at the farm, and I get a lot of people that come out. I mean, we have busloads of kids come out sometimes, at the farm and do
Just
things, and then
eating
we have
strawberries left and right.
handicap. We've had some disabled kids come out, and at the time I was planting. I can't remember. I think it was peppers, and so I let them help.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they go, well, they might run. I said, I can fix anything that they mess up.
And if they ruin one plant,
yeah, they had a ball. It was great, and if people are coming out, how do you do this? I'm not gonna, some people go, I know it's a big secret. No, I'm gonna tell them, everything, Well,
that says a lot about you. I don't want to miss out on telling more people to find you, like websites or Facebook or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm on, my website is Crooked Row Farm farm.com.
They'll put it down here, don't worry.
Okay. And then and then Facebook page is just Crooked Row Farm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
Facebook.
you're in charge of neither.
Yeah, well, part of it, you know, until my wife says, well, you missed this and you missed that, and you know, you did this, and why'd you spell that way? Because I don't type, I just write it, and I don't read it, and then I just post it, and then it sounds stupid.
I haven't met your wife, but I got to imagine that you'd just be wandering around in a circle without her.
I would. I
Yes.
would.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and she can outwork me.
I-
I tell you what, one time she broke her leg about 4 years ago, and she got on, and we found this scooter, and like electric scooter.
Yeah.
And she was on that picking, weeding the whole time. And one time, me and a friend of mine, we were weeding the raspberries, and it was so hot, and we're out. I said, I'm ready to take a break.
Yeah, and she was-
and I said, but I ain't taking one until she does, because she's got a broken leg.
Well, let
She's
her-
got to get
no,
on. I
let her
said,
work. I like when the wives do all the work. All right, Randy Starnes from Crooked Row Farms. Really appreciate you coming today.
Yep,
really
yep, no
appreciate
problem.
all your work.
Yep.
Everybody
Thank
else,
you.
we'll catch you next time. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to explore more of our local content. You can connect with us on our social media platforms, visit our website, or download and watch the free PBS app. We can't wait to see you next time on A Shot of Ag.